The idea for the actual story actually came out of our initial emotion, which was loneliness. Everybody sort of had the same general idea of a sort of low-tech mythological time period, so we have people armed with spears and swords and gods running around, influencing events. Based on loneliness, we envisioned a sort of people that have been exiled from the rest of their people, and we're trying to find a place where they could be separate from the world, which is where our setting came into play. We agreed pretty early on about our people inhabiting some sort of tall mountain near the beginning of the process, essentially isolating them from the rest of the world, and that's where the story of our people finding and eventually inhabiting this mountain came from. After that, we realized we still needed a conflict for the story, so we devised a plot about another tribe attacking and trying to take over the mountain for themselves. Lex's story outline had included the goddess, which our monument was dedicated to, coming in to save the day, and banish the hostile tribe with pounding storms. That's the event that eventually inspires our initial monument being built, which brings all of our designs and ideas full circle through a single fluid story.
Our village is located at the top of a lonely mountain surrounded by a constant rain. The play is a retelling of the legend of how our people came together hundreds of thousands of years ago. With that in mind, we wanted the costumes to display the timely fashion of our Greek heritage. The goddess, villagers, and hero have a simple yet elegant design to them. The goddess is our savior, so I wanted her to be powerful and beautiful. She created the storm surrounding our village, so her color scheme is dark blues and purple. She is elegant and statuesque, causing her to stand out amongst the villagers as a focal point. She is a warrior and adorned with a bow and quiver. Since she is a goddess, she is not able to walk amongst the mortals. Therefore, when the war breaks out, she is able to help defend from a distance. The governing emotion is loneliness, so it seems only fitting that our people be humble and simply dressed. They are working people, so their hair is constantly up and pulled back to keep out of their faces. Both men and women are dressed in white, simple togas. The only splash of color comes from their cloaks, which are either black or dark green. Our men are rugged and beard-faced, and our women have plaited hair wrapped as crowns around their heads in honor of our goddess. For our male protagonist, I wanted him to have a more humbling appearance as a shepherd. The cane he carries is a representation of a shepherd's staff. He is the one that led our people to freedom and a safe place to live. Since we live up on the top of the mountain, I wanted his shoes to be spiked and slip-proof for climbing. He has an elegant simplicity about him that allows him to be worthy enough to talk to our goddess. We are a lonely people, but we work hard. Our goddess is our protector, and our storm is our blanket.
My group and I came up with the idea to make it a live theatrical performance and to have the set rotate, and it came together piece by piece. My original sketch had a simple staircase leading to a platform, splitting the spinning circular stage. In time, we came to the conclusion to have the set inspired by Greek architecture. After researching, I drew up a more elaborate rough design with more Greek elements to it. The first step of my research was figuring out exactly what the set would look like. I loved the layout of a Greek amphitheater and wanted to utilize the big round spaces. The staircase was the next issue. I found the image of the swirling staircase and immediately changed my original plan. Greek architecture is known for its columns, and I fell in love with Ionic columns. I later would place them underneath the platform holding it up. Other set pieces would move on and off the stage, such as the village's huts. I wanted to keep the loneliness idea with these huts and found a triangular hut that perfectly fit the mold. The last thing I thought about was what the other village would look like if the actors wanted to bring the other village's set on stage and shift on the set pieces. I came up with the idea to make them Roman-inspired to really contrast the Greek style. The colors would be warm and the village as a whole would be more upscale. Finally, I made my model, and I believe it fully shows my final thoughts in a clean and crisp way. I wanted to keep everything white to add to the Greek marble feel. I made sure to add a picture with one of the huts shifted onto the scene to show the placement of where it could go. Overall, I think everything for the whole project came together great.
The concept around our theatrical piece relies heavily on contrasted light and strong, dark, dramatic lighting. The show itself revolves around 4 major points throughout the show: scenes in the village, scenes outside the village, the battles during the climax of the show, and the arrival of the goddess, which ends the battle. All 4 of these moments need to have their own distinct lighting. The village itself is meant to be located on the sides of a peak of a tall, dark mountain, which is constantly beleaguered by storms and rain. As such, I imagine a dim stage, with heavy, dark blue light casting a haze of rain-like effects over the stage. This combination of black and blue would create the desired effect. For a stark contrast to the village, I imagine outside the village would be of normal color, colored by more usual sunny yellows and orange we would expect from being outside. The next step would then be the battle. As this takes place near the mountain, there would again be a dimmer stage, but instead of the dark blues, there would be intense and savage reds, representing the blood and passion of battle. The final use of light would then be the arrival of the goddess. Because the goddess is of a supernatural nature, it would make sense for her color scheme to defy the naturalistic and rural color scheme that had been used before. Rather than common earth colors such as yellow, orange, red, or blue, the goddess's entrance will be filled with bright purple and pink light, colors that are much less common in everyday nature. The lights will be as bright as possible, and all focused on the goddess as she enters to give her a sense of importance.